I want to say something. I kind of tuned in last night to a debate that happened.
I'm
not going to talk a lot about it, but I just want to say one thing about this. If you are on the right side of all of these arguments, do not jump into anything unless you are as prepared as you can possibly be, because it makes everyone look really, really, really
and you
bad.
mean correct, right?
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Like,
right.
do not jump into stuff and try and debate people because you are passionate. I love the passion. Great. Awesome. But if you want to make things, if you want changes to happen, you need to like be prepared and be accurate when you're doing stuff like that, because it really doesn't help things. I mean, I don't know who this person was, but it was painful. I was like, oh, holy shit. Like,
well, let me add to that, because, and I think, Bob, within the initiative, we've had plenty of discussion about this. So, don't get all up in your fucking head about being a hero when it comes to like, I'm going to prove this person, this YouTuber or whatever, that he's full of shit. Because if they have a platform and a following and they're making content about stuff that is wrong, like, they're full of shit and they're just manipulating people and stuff, they have committed to it. And you're not going to be the one to get on stream and go, see, you're wrong. And then they go, oh, you're right. You fucking got me. That's not going to happen. You don't fucking you're not going to be the hero, right? Like, you need to, if you're going to, go directly at this stuff, you need to do it smart. As we've kind of adopted as a position in the initiative, because, going up like Eric July, Ethan Van Sciver, those guys, there's nothing you can do that's going to make their audience become aware of the bullshit. They're fucking completely bought in. They're the types of people who get almost all of their information from that YouTuber on these subjects. And you're not going to make them go, oh, wait, he has different information than me. I better look into that. And, it's just not worth it. And yeah, you may be very passionate, and that's admirable, but apply that passion in a smart way. Because as DJ said, it just makes everybody else look worse. And then you're giving them content. You're giving them money.
Because now we have to answer for that stuff, because they're going to be like, well, what about this guy that said all of this? And it's like, great,
I mean, a little bit I've seen points where I was like, I'm agreeing with the person I don't agree with in general.
Yes, that was where good. I was like, this is not bad. This is like, yeah, because in this situation, I try to be as open-minded as possible when I'm listening to a debate, because I want to be able to take in like all of the information. And just the fact that I was like, oh, oof. The person that I don't normally agree with, I'm like, that's a problem.
Well,
that's a
problem. Like, I'll put it this way. Taylor from Taylor Talks Comics, he's one of our kind of behind the scenes researchers and stuff. He reason I know him is because a couple of years ago he approached me and was like, hey, what would you say if I was going to debate Ethan Van Sciver? And I was like, don't. And he was like, well, it's already scheduled. And so I said, okay, well, and he asked me if I could give him some tips. And we spent a couple of weeks, I can't, kind of going over stuff and what I knew about how his tactics and stuff. And Taylor was really prepared, and he's a very knowledgeable guy. You should subscribe to his channel. It's linked in the descriptions. And he went up against him, and he held his own pretty well. Ethan, for whatever reason, was not at that time I think he was trying to clean up the image a little bit, so he was not being super duper fucking gross and shitty. But he held his own, and he still, Ethan still was just able to talk around him and avoid, and control the conversation, because that's his job. His job isn't to make comic books. It's to control the conversation and make YouTube videos, streams. And Eric's much the same way. Eric is almost certainly media trained, and if you're not going to have much of a shot.
And if anything, these guys are well trained in that specifically. They're really good at doing that.
Yeah, and I was going to say Bob also debated him, and Bob held his own pretty well. Bob, but still, like, it doesn't matter in the long run. Even if Bob had just nailed him on every single point, Eric would have done what he did, except even harder, which is reframe the debate, make it all about how Bob's, all this bullshit personal attacks that have nothing to do with anything they talked about. Yeah.
Also, I want to say that the reason why you can tell that Bob's was different is Eric did another additional 2 hours of damage control after Bob and him got done. And I know he does that from time to time, but it was a very different response to Bob than it was a lot of the other people that he's
Bob really pissed him off on a couple of points. Yeah. And that's the thing. He sees that he's like, oh man, if people start thinking about those couple of things that he got me on, that's a problem for my bottom line and for my credibility as someone who, bases my credibility on being deceptive. And so he has to control that narrative. And that's really what they do, and in fact, I have let's see. I have this clip we can look at that really just highlights what we're talking about.
On February 5th, 2023, Eric July debated organized chaos for 3.5 hours.
What do you mean new legacy character? Are you talking about knockoff versions? Is that what you're referring to?
While Bob went on with his life, Eric stayed on air for another 2 hours to declare himself the winner. This is what winning looks like.
I'm not gonna use aggression on you, but all I'm saying is people done got knocked the fuck out for a lot less. Don't let me go to a con and his motherfucking ass is there. You've left your parents or your children with a single mom. You left your children with a single fucking mom, divorced, fat, and out of shape, right? And white, right? And white, right? Right?
All right, you get it, but like, Bob, how could you leave your kids there with a single mom, Bob?
I know.
Goddamn,
I should probably hang out with my kids more.
Yeah. More. By the way, that's Pop Counterculture. You should subscribe to him for sure too. He did that beautiful edit.
What got me about that? I'm sorry. I've seen that a couple times now, but the one thing that gets me is when you're like, while Bob went on with his life. It's so true. Like Bob was out and just like done. And, this like victory lap that Eric was having after that video. I painfully sat through the whole fucking thing. Like when he was doing it, it was like
basically what doesn't work is debating them. That's why I don't do it, and they call me a coward. They, whatever. Like I've debated plenty of people. Whenever the thing is that if somebody's not a content creator, they don't want to debate,
right?
Because content creators can then manipulate and distort and monetize. That's the main thing. When it comes to their audience, very, very rarely are they actually willing to step up outside of the comments and taking bullshit shots in the comments. But no, just don't debate.
It's also a lot of people don't get the point of online debates. A debate will never change a bunch of people's opinions. You can completely decimate a person in a debate, like another content creator, right? You can have facts and they can have nothing to say, right? You can school them. It doesn't matter when it's two fan bases clashing. Their fan base is not going to change. You may win over a couple.
It's more like a sports event than it is a debate. It's
exactly
yeah. No, online debates are weird.
Well, the other thing is that I was saying a debate is like when two people are giving an opportunity to maybe change each other's minds about something and then state their position, and that's not what happens in YouTube debates.
No.
So it's part of the reason why I'm kind of taking the approach of if I do a debate, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to want a moderator in a middle ground person broadcasting it. Ron,
that's at least step number one. Step number one, period, is that because. And that's still not probably going to do a whole lot of good, but because for one thing, who is the other person going to agree to? Probably not somebody you pick.
Exactly.
And that creates an inherent problem there because like the only person they might agree to is somebody that they know is, favorable to their positions and whatnot.
Well, also because Eric, the way he does his debates, I don't know how EVS does because I haven't seen any recent debates from EVS, but way Eric does his debates is he sets it up as like a boxing match. You know what I mean? He wants to monetize the people that he's going off against, and every time he says a zinger, he gets a tip. You know what I mean? Like if you watch the stream, people tip him when he says something like that they can agree with. It's like, here's $50. Oh, you really got him. Ha ha ha, $50. Like this is why they do it. Like there's no real motivation to debate them, honestly.
It's like it's similar to like, for example, when Ben Shapiro or like Matt Walsh go to like university, like a big conference, and then there's those like a progressive person will come up and get the microphone and ask a couple questions, right? And they'll make a good point, but then due to the environment, like a Ben Shapiro will say like one thing, and it'll just be like, well, it's gender and sex are the same thing, right? And then the entire audience will like go crazy. Yeah, exactly. And it's just, it's not an environment where you can change anything. You will only look bad, even if you make good arguments.
I think your video and like that one video we saw or that was shared to me recently, the one about Critical Drinker that just came out, Empty Mitch, I think is the guy's name that did it.
Yeah. Yes, I was going to promote him.
Videos like that are the way to combat what they do, not debating them.
Yeah.
That's why they hate. That's why they show up. That's why they. That's why Eric July covers DJ's channel, which has like what, under 200 subs.
Oh,
right?
210 now. 210.
Fuck yeah, you're getting there, man. You're getting there.
Yeah.
Well, not to insult him because his other channel's got more subs than I think probably any of us, but still, like a channel with under 200 subs, and Eric is like every single time he makes a video about him, he's addressing it or whatever. Like that should tell you something. And Philip,
and not even him. Like if I say anything that they cover me, they talk about me. It's like, you know.
Yeah. Even when I like the first Eric July video on your like new channel, I'm pretty sure you had like 60 or so subs.
Yeah, and it was my third video ever.
Yeah.
Third video that I ever made.
Philip, we agree. The reason they don't, most likely, we know this with Jeremy's case, is they're not good at it.
Yeah. Jeremy
not good
did
at,
more than he should.
And when I say good at it, I mean not good at, obfuscating and like getting around being accountable for claims and lying, and so they're just not good at that.
By the way, hasn't there been times where Jeremy has had people want to debate him and he sends them to Eric July? Hasn't that happened before? I believe
it once.
Like I think someone that debated Eric a while back said that he wanted to debate Geeks and Gamers, but then Eric was the one that contacted them about debating. I'll have to find it. Anyway, I think that's what they sort of unload some of the debate people on the ones on their team, I guess, that knows how to debate, basically.
I want to ask a question about this comment. How do you reconcile something that's factual and something that is just not? How do you meet in the middle between those things? How do you reconcile something that is like just avoiding reality, avoiding scientific consensus, avoiding things you can see with your own eyes, and something that's just making bizarre claims that it's not rooted in any kind of observable empirical evidence? How do you reconcile those, man? That's the problem.
Like how do you reconcile the two opinions that trans people deserve to live their lives meaningful and just not affect, like they don't affect anyone else, and then the other viewpoint where it's like they don't want trans people to live, they want to ban everything that makes life good for them, they want them to kill themselves. Like how do you see these two? It's just like, oh well, it's just different opinion, let's just come together. Like how do you come together with those?
I mean, essentially the one side is trans people don't exist, which is just factually incorrect, and it's like you can't reconcile with that because it's just there's no fact. It's just a pure feelings based argument. It's a pure, frankly, big based argument. It's nothing you can do with that.
On my content, it's hard for me to have a discussion about reality because they immediately come in and start going off on the whole gay issues, like, oh fuck you, you're gay, blah blah blah, etc. How do I engage? And I've put up like I think 3 videos where I've said, listen, this is your pass card here. If you want to know anything about me or gay people outside of the back and forth arguments, leave your comments and questions here. And crickets. So I have literally given them the opportunity to have a conversation with me, and they don't want that. So it's not for lack of trying. It's simply that they just don't want to know.
For sure. Yeah, like the one on screen right now, the whole change my mind tactic. It's if you ever like if anyone's at their school or anything, or they just out in public or see a video where it's like some quote changed my mind, right? And you think, oh, I disagree with that, right? And I watch a bunch of videos, where I do my research, I know something. It's not worth it. Those things are meant from both sides, right? There's also people who do it on like the left, right? It's made so that the person who's sitting there is gonna win because they've specifically researched and they're like ready for that specific debate. And even if you disagree with it, even if you have some good arguments, you will never on the spot just have what you need to win that debate. Like something like that is just a trap. Like you're not gonna win it.
And let's not forget, as has been made light lately, the guy that popularized that, he also did that tactic with his wife.
Also, it's bait. It's typically bait. I mean, that's all it
is.
They're baiting you into a argument, pretty much.
All right, I'm gonna let y'all know because I don't want to call anybody out, but like if you're new to chat and you have questions, the absolute best way to get that question answered in a timely manner and to make sure it's is super chats, which you can do on Organized Chaos's channel. Otherwise, if you're just spamming, "Hey, answer my question," I'm probably gonna block you after a while because that's really entitled, and there's like there's 80 people watching, and you want us to just stop what we're doing in the middle of a conversation to just answer your unrelated thing. It's really entitled. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And generally speaking, if it's unrelated, we'll probably get to it in between a segment or something. Be immediate.
Or it may start a completely new segment if they wait. It may start a whole new conversation.
Yeah. True. Because like, please ask all the questions you want. It's just like, first of all, don't spam, and also don't feel entitled that we have to respond. Other than that, ask all the questions you want.